All right, everybody. Thank you so much for pressing play. Of course, you know this is Umpire Dave and my very good friend, the holistic golfer, aka Renny Bray. Thank you, Renny, for
Yeah,
hopping on with me today.
no problem.
So, also, my friends need to know that this is my entrepreneurship, quote unquote, business partner because I wouldn't say we're business partners. We're not operating under the same roof, but we are promoting the same health product. And of course, the electrolyze, reduce water, aka Kangen water ionizers. Rennie, I do have some questions for you. But first, can you explain to me the history of those golf clubs behind you? Because I'm very interested in the history.
So anyway, like they're just old hickory shafted clubs. That was the first shaft that I know of that was invented. Came along before steel shafts, which came along in like the 1950s, I believe, maybe 60s. I think it was 50s. And I just have kind of always wanted a set just for straight wall decor. I've used them to practice, and they're fun to hit. I mean, it just makes you realize how good the old school golfers really were, because those things are really challenging to hit. And so I just found them one day at like I don't even remember, garage sale, secondhand store type place, and I've just had them I had them in my Arizona house with me. I brought them here, and I just thought it would be a cool like kind of office background because I like golf a lot.
So I thought you were going to be a lot more philosophical. I was thinking like you have to know where you've been in order to know where you're going, or you were going to drop some kind of like heavy duty knowledge on us.
No, not that deep at all, man.
Not
Just
that deep. Well,
secondhand store.
I did hear something though, because back then it was a lot more challenging. So what do you think about golf? Has it gotten easier with the technology? Is it less challenging nowadays, or what do you think?
Oh yeah, thousand percent. The ball is doesn't spin as much, and then the drivers, they got the little tiny heads, and now the heads are massive. You can hit it kind of anywhere on the face, and the ball will go straight. If you are a golfer, you've heard the term "hit it on the screws." There used to be screws in the middle of those club faces, about the size of a quarter, and if you didn't hit on the screws, it went in the trees. So
Well,
golf's
then
way more difficult. Golf was way more difficult back in the day. That said, the courses now have gotten harder, but not enough to the degree that the equipment's changed.
So I'm gonna tell you from my perspective as umpire Dave, I see that there's a quote, and and you might have to help me out, but it says that hard times make strong men, and strong men make good times, and good times make weak men, and weak men make easy times, or weak men make hard
Yeah.
times make strong. It's a circle, right? so
Hmm.
so I see, like, okay, we used to have strong men with weak clubs. Now we have strong clubs with overall generally saying weak men, so there's a flip-flop. But also, we used to be an independent people. Let's talk about entrepreneurship. Let's talk about business. We can relate it to baseball, we can relate it to sports, because everything is relatable. And if
Yeah.
it's not, then we can find the overlaps. So you correct me if I'm wrong, but let's tell my friends and my family how we met, because you came into the juice bar as a skeptic. You came in as the typical average American Joe who thought they knew everything about their water, but you were on the fence about what you wanted to invest in, whether it was going to be reverse osmosis, Berkey, and then all of a sudden, here's this guy that's got this thing, and now and you're curious about it. So you go home, you check up on Google, you realize how expensive it is, and you immediately throw it out the door. So then after a couple months, you come back, right back to Oregon, you get back on the water, you notice a big difference, and you say, oh man, my challenge is going to be convincing my wife. Is that right, or is that not right?
That's 1,000% true. Yeah, it's
And
exactly how it went down.
now let's skip forward. We've got two water snobs, because your wife is even full blown Kangen. And when she goes back to Arizona, I bet she notices the difference. Am I right, or am I wrong?
You're dead on. Yeah, no, she really can't travel without it. If she does travel without it, she'll call me and say, I miss my Kangen water, and she misses. We also have the company also. I later found out makes a shower unit, and we also have that shower unit, and she loves it just as much as she loves the water machine. So that's what I really noticed, because that you go somewhere and you hop in a shower that's got chlorine in it, it's not filtered, it's not remineralized. Like you could really smell and feel a difference when you're taking that shower.
For sure. And like, I don't have much hair. You don't have to take off your hat because,
I'm
oh,
missing a bit.
yeah.
A little
So
shiny on this light.
the Anespa, though, I bet your wife notices a big difference because she's got a lot of really thick hair. She's got great hair, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was like when she was living in Arizona. Maybe not as great. We'll have to ask her someday. So let's skip forward a little bit now to where you are. So I noticed that I can keep bringing those golf clubs back into the analogy. So do you think that most of the players today would find it like a fun challenge to use those clubs, or do you think it'd be a frustrating challenge?
I think they would like it for fun. I know a lot of country clubs. There's a lot of people that will go out and buy about 50, 60 sets of those, and then they'll go rent them to country clubs. And then country clubs will have a hickory shaft day. So, just regular Joes can go, play full 18 holes with those. I think it would be fun for one day, maybe one tournament a year where they use the old school equipment, they would have fun. But if they had to use those for longer than a week, they'd probably quit golf.
Well,
I
is that the same with entrepreneurship and with being a business owner, would you say?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like even myself, like I went into it and I saw the value in this product and I was just like, there's no way anyone can look at this product and not want to buy it. Like I made a couple of social media posts just about the product. And I thought that, I was going to have 75 people a day buying these machines because I was just like, it's such a no brainer. Like, why wouldn't you want a product that makes you healthier, makes your home chemical free, helps the environment, saves you on taxes, and could potentially change your level of freedom? And I thought everyone would want one, right? And then you enter this business and you realize the challenge is like getting through that mindset that we all programmed with since day one is really a tough nut to crack. That's what I've noticed in this challenge, or in this business, is just you're really breaking through limiting beliefs and mindsets. And then I always talk about it on my social media page. There's a $1 billion a day matrix designed to keep you just being a worker bee. You're designed to be a 9 to 5 worker. If you're not trading your time for money, you're this cuckoo, wacky, crazy person who, is part of those one of those one things, or lives in a fantasy land, or
Yeah.
is out of touch with reality. So
I did have a question about that because you actually have a degree from one of those matrixy universities. Is that right?
yeah, yeah.
So my question for you is, did they teach you anything about what you're learning now as an independent entrepreneur? Did your fancy degree pay for what you're learning on your own as a man called Renny?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not you learn it all like as you go. When you get in this business, you think you're selling water machines, but once you're in it, you realize that you're like on this lifelong self-education process, and you have to develop yourself in order to be successful in this business. Like my first year, all I would do was just make little posts of just pictures of other things besides me because I was terrified of how I looked. I was afraid to put my face on camera. I was afraid to have a social media account. And so I realized if I'm going to be successful, I've got to get over that limiting belief. And then my second limiting belief is I was trying to market to everybody. I was trying to be Mr. Nice Guy and not offend anybody. And then that's just not me. And like earlier this year, I just kind of had an epiphany where like I almost quit this business because I just didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I was being my authentic self. So I told my wife and I told myself, like, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to do it my way. And it just feels so much better. And then in return, I can't point to anything else it would be. I've had my most successful year in this business, just being my authentic self, talking about my likes, my dislikes, where I'm headed, where I was. And I go to bed so much easier at night. Like I'm not doing any magic trickery or anything. The science of this water is, it's hard to ignore. The compensation plan, hard to ignore. Like if you don't want to be healthier, if you don't want to make more money in 2024, I don't need you. Bye. There's plenty of more people out there that want that. That's who I'm looking for. And that just feels so much better, not having to try to appease everybody, not having to try to appease the pyramid schemers. There's enough people out there right now that can recognize an actual scam. And if you look into network marketing, if you look into the compensation plan, if you look into the 50-year history of the company, if you look at the 1,400 clinical trials of hydrogen water, like if you actually look at that with an open mind and you don't agree with it, fine. But like it was hard for me to ignore. There's enough people out there that are on the same page as me.
Well,
And you,
my only recommendation is don't give up on them too early, because if I'd have given up on you, then we wouldn't be here today, you know?
yeah, exactly. No, I don't give up on people, but I just don't, I'm not in the business of changing their mind.
Right. That's exactly what I just said yesterday was that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, but you can put salt in the hay. And I like to put Celtic sea salt in my water because my water is foundational. It's not the only thing we need, but also it's a great foundation to build on. And that's like
Yeah.
what I say is for my overall health and wellness, I don't only drink this water, but it's the foundation that I've built, and it's the strongest foundation that I've had because I've had relapses. I'm an addict. I'm addicted to self-destructive behavior. I'm addicted to self-destructive thoughts. I'm addicted to sugar for sure. If you leave a family-sized pack of Oreos on the counter, they will be gone by the end of the day. And I will feel guilty personally, but I'll do it again the next day. And that's compound interest over time. And that's how I got to be over 300 pounds, was because I didn't love myself so much to the effect that I would just continue the behavior. And
Yeah.
now I love myself so much that when I recognize that I'm about to go off course, I just adjust course. And I know I need to spend more time at the juice bar, or I have to get online with my good friend Renny so he can inspire me. But also, what I say, what umpire Dave has been saying most of the time is that you have to treat yourself with respect and integrity and honor. And I wasn't doing that. I was
Yeah.
disrespecting myself with every choice that I made, and I was not living in integrity and honor for my body, for my mind, for my heart, and for my soul. And so, Renny, what I've noticed the most about you is you've always had this real calm, cool, collective attitude. I think most golfers are just pretty chill, like surfers in general. They spend so much time on the beautiful course. How can you not love your life? But I do have this book called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. And there's a lot of really great quotes, but she utilizes the laws of nature. And that's like the universal laws, like the law of non-resistance. And everyone knows about the law of attraction, but the law of compensation is what I want to focus on. Because it says in here, there's a quote that says, I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way. I provide wonderful service for wonderful pay. So you did mention that this is your best year in Enagic, and we're going to close up right now. This is the last question I have. But do you think that you have a wonderful business in a wonderful way? Do you provide wonderful service, and that's why you've received wonderful pay? What do you say?
I would agree. Yeah, that's one of my core values is just I want to provide wonderful, excellent service. I want anybody that purchases a machine to meet from me to feel supported, whether they're an end user or they're an end user and somebody that promotes the business. I want them to feel like that, I'm going to work the business as hard as they will. And, anytime they need anything from me, I'm just a call or a text away.
I appreciate you very much, Renny. So also, I'm your sponsor, and that's why I've asked to interview you particularly. So when you buy a machine from me, you also get me, and I say that a lot in my videos and things, but I don't think people really take it very seriously. So you guys, if you're watching this video and you've been inspired, then now you know that when you get a machine from me, you also get me. But when you buy one from Renny Bray, guess what? It's a 2-for-1 deal, because not only do you get the holistic golfer, but you also get his sponsor, Umpire Dave. So thank you very much for
Yeah.
watching this far. Thank you, Renny, for your time and your commitment to yourself and to this business, and for helping me help others. You have a
Yeah.
great
Thanks for having me.
day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.